Okay, think about this for a second. Right now, as you're sitting here, there's a literal electrical system running through your body. It's not science fiction, it's biochemistry, and it's what's keeping your heart beating, your muscles firing, and your brain thinking. So let's dive into how this all works.
So what's behind all this? What's the secret sauce that lets you turn a simple thought into an action, like snapping your fingers? What exactly is it that makes your body, well, electric?
Well, the answer is something you've probably heard of: electrolytes. These are basically minerals, like sodium and potassium, that are dissolved in your body's fluids. But here's the magic part: they carry an electric charge. You can think of them as the tiny little sparks that power the human machine. They're absolutely essential for pretty much everything. Now, to really get where these electrolytes do their thing, we gotta zoom in on where they actually live. And honestly, it's kind of like our bodies are their own self-contained ocean. Yeah, no joke. For the average adult, a whopping 56% of your body is fluid. And this fluid isn't just one big puddle. It's carefully divided into two main compartments: the fluid that's inside your cells and the fluid that's outside your cells. And this is where things get really, really cool. Just look at these numbers. Sodium is everywhere outside the cells, but there's barely any inside. And for potassium, it's the complete opposite. It's packed inside the cells. Now, that huge difference isn't an accident. It's the whole point. It's an intentional design that creates an electrical charge, basically turning every single one of your cells into a tiny biological battery. All right, so let's meet the key players in this whole electrical drama. Each one has a super specific, and I mean vital, job to do. First up, we've got sodium. As we just saw, it's the main ion outside our cells, and you can think of it as the guardian of your body's water balance. The big takeaway here: wherever sodium goes, water is sure to follow. It's like they're attached at the hip. And that's how your body controls where fluid goes, keeping your tissues perfectly hydrated. Oh, and it's also absolutely critical for sending nerve signals throughout your body. Okay, now let's flip to the inside. If sodium is the guardian on the outside, then potassium is the absolute powerhouse working within the cell. And this is just wild. Its concentration is about 23 times higher inside the cell than outside. That's a huge difference. And that massive gradient is so important for our muscles, and especially for keeping our heart beating in a steady, reliable rhythm. Getting potassium levels right is, and I mean this literally, a matter of life and death. All right, next up is calcium. And yeah, we all think strong bones right away. But the really interesting part for our story is the tiny, tiny amount of calcium that's not in our skeleton. That little bit is a major commander in our body fluids. So yeah, 99% of it is building up your skeleton, but that last 1%, it is an absolute superstar. It's crucial for making your blood clot when you get a cut. It's the key that lets your muscles contract, and it even helps hold the very walls of your cells together. It's doing so much more than just sitting in our bones. So you can see our bodies are in this constant, tireless balancing act to keep all these electrolytes just right. But what happens when that delicate balance gets thrown way off? Well, there's a word for this perfect balance: homeostasis. It's this active, nonstop process of self-regulation. But sometimes, things happen. You get sick, you're severely dehydrated, and the body just can't keep up. And that's when you get into what are called electrolyte disorders. Let's start with sodium. If you have too little, that's called hyponatremia. This can happen if you lose a lot of fluids, think, heavy sweating or a bad stomach bug. But if you have too much, that's hypernatremia. That's often a telltale sign of dehydration, where you've lost the water, but the salt gets left behind. Potassium, though, is even more finicky. Too little, hypokalemia, can be caused by a lot of the same stuff that messes with sodium. But too much potassium, or hyperkalemia, that's often a red flag for a really serious problem, like kidney damage, because your body simply can't get rid of the excess. And then there's calcium, where the effects are all about the nervous system. If you have too little, your nerves and muscles get all twitchy and overexcited. But have too much, and the whole system gets sluggish and depressed. It just goes to show how incredibly precise this internal chemistry has to be. So when things get seriously out of whack, you can't just fix it with a sports drink. That's when we have to call in the cavalry, modern medicine, and something called electrolyte replacement therapy. And the objective here is really straightforward: get the body's internal ocean back to normal. We're not just trying to make someone feel better. This is a critical, often life-saving step to get their circulation and all their cells working properly again.
Probably the most common tool in the toolbox is what's called normal saline. It's basically a sterile solution of salt and water. That 154 number you see is just a measure of its chemical concentration, and it's specifically designed to quickly refill the fluid outside our cells and bring that sodium level back up.
Then you've got something called lactated ringers, and you can see right away this one is more like a cocktail. It's got sodium, potassium, calcium, the whole gang's here. It's made to be a lot closer to the actual makeup of our blood plasma, which makes it perfect when someone needs a lot of fluid without messing up their body's pH balance. And not all saline is the same. Doctors have to pick the right tool for the job. Isotonic saline matches our body's own fluid concentration, so it's great for just general volume replacement. Hypotonic saline has more water than salt, so it's used for hydration when someone can't drink. And then you have these powerful hypertonic solutions, which are super concentrated. They're only used in really serious cases to pull sodium levels up fast. And this quote from the source material really drives the point home. When someone has lost so much fluid that their life is on the line, the very first thing you do is get an infusion of isotonic saline going. It is that fundamental. So we've seen this incredible balancing act our body performs every single second, and what happens when medicine has to step in, which leaves me with one final thought for you to take away. Knowing just how delicate this whole system is, what choices are you making in your own daily life, what you eat, how much water you drink, that help your body walk this amazing biological tightrope?